Okay, boxing fans, I'm going to do my quick prediction. Well, it's not going to be quick, I've got a feeling. But my prediction on Broner versus Paulie Malignaggi. Problem, broke my headphones, so that's my microphone gone. Using the inbuilt one on the laptop, so I don't know what the quality's like, so bear with me. I have ordered some more. The only problem is massive 14-day wait. I don't understand why. Bitch ass Amazon, that's what I say. Anyway, people have been popping up here, there and everywhere saying Paulie's going to do this, Paulie's going to do that. Well, let me tell you something, folks. Paulie ain't going to do shit, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to actually tell you right now why. Okay, people are looking at Paulie and they're fixated on the past. You know, we live in today, not yesterday. Yesterday, Paulie, in his biggest fight ever, barely survived with Miguel Cotto. Barely. You know, fractured face and all sorts of stuff. And that's when both fighters were no doubt at their best. That's true, okay? They're both different now. They're both in different weight limits. If they were to fight again, I wouldn't favour Paulie, I'd still favour Cotto. But they're both significantly weaker today than they were then. Let's look at Paulie of yesterday. His biggest fights were against the guys like Amir Khan and Ricky Hatton. People like that. Who he lost to. Right? He was expected to do big things in those fights. Especially in the Ricky Hatton fight. People said it would be a hard fight for Ricky. What happened? It was a pretty easy fight for Ricky. It was. Everyone knows it. He got the Pacquiao fight straight off it. Let's look at Paulie today. He barely survived a fight with Pablo Cesar Cano. I think that's his name. He barely survived that fight. And when I say barely survived, he should have got stopped. And another thing, probably this is also the truth, he didn't win it on points either, did he, Paulie? Because, you know, Cano probably won it on points. He just got given the belt. And let's look at Cano, shall we? Let's look at Cano. Because he's a brilliant fighter, isn't he? Isn't he a brilliant fighter, guys? Let's all talk about how brilliant Cano is. He got bitched on by a shot Mosley last week. Shot Mosley. And if you don't think Mosley's shot, Mosley got bitched on 2 years ago by, who was it? Sergio Mora. And he's not that good. He's not. But if that doesn't, you know, sway the boat to, you know, how bad Cano is, Cano also got stopped, a technical knockout, stopped by Eric Morales. What, 4 weights from where he's best? 4 weights from where Eric Morales was good. Eric Morales at 140 was not good. Cano fought him at 140 and Cano got beat up by Eric Morales. You know, Eric Morales then went on to get beat up by Danny Garcia. Says a lot. Let's look at some of these attributes, okay, that, you know, Paulie's going to use to win this fight against Adrien Broner. Because, you know, I'm just going to throw this out now. I'm not even a big Adrien Broner fan. I'm not his biggest fan. I actually think he's an arse bandit. But I'm not retarded. And I don't see why everyone else is pretending to be retarded so that they can build up this fight or some shit. I don't know. Why are people building up Paulie's chances in this fight? He doesn't have many, if any. Let's look at Paulie's power, because he's going to use that to knock out Adrien Broner, right? Wrong. Because Adrien Broner has got naturally heavier hands. Paulie doesn't. Paulie cannot punch his way out of a wet paper bag. You know, one of the main things you need to beat someone who is, you know, a good prospect coming through, who does not have fear of being beaten, is the power to keep them honest, get their respect early in a fight. Paulie can't do that. If you think Paulie has the power to get Broner's attention, then you're kidding yourself. In fact, I would say you're deluded. You know, because Hatton's got a worse chin than Adrien Broner. He just does. And at times he walked straight through Paulie's punches and landed a power shot, which Paulie didn't take very well. It's true. He took it, didn't go down, but it was the more eye-catching punch. Paulie didn't like it. It's true. Same with Cotto. Is Cotto, you know, has he got a brilliant chin? I wouldn't say his chin is the greatest, but he walked straight through what Paulie got and landed his own shots and bullied Paulie around. And that's when they were both at their best. Let's look at Cotto's shitter relative, Jose or whatever his name is. Let's look at Cotto. Paulie opened up at him on 147, and Cotto just landed shots over the top all night. Paulie outworked him and wanted, a clear decision. Yeah, sure, but it was Cotto who landed the harder punches, and Paulie didn't like him. It's true. Go watch the fight. Let's look at Cano. He walked straight through Paulie's punches at times too, and landed the better shots. It's true. Cano probably also beat him. So all these people are walking straight through Paulie's punches, right, and throwing counter power shots. And Paulie doesn't like that. And Adrien Broner's got heavy hands. I'll say he's a heavier puncher than the likes of Jose Cotto, Amir Khan, who stopped him, Ricky Hatton. Now, he's probably a heavier puncher than Ricky Hatton, and those guys stopped him. And Cano, I think he's a much heavier hitter than Cano, and he almost stopped Paulie. In fact, he probably should have. But let's move on, because Paulie can stop Adrien Broner winning through his significantly better defense, right? Wrong again. I mean, Adrien Broner is, let me tell you, he's not Mayweather. He's not. He wants to be, but he's not. And I mean, he's light years away from Mayweather, but he's still a head and heels better than Paulie Malignaggi is defensively. For a pure boxer, Paulie Malignaggi is god awful defensively. He gets hit way too much, and I'll tell you why. It's because he's regressed in movement, foot speed, and he always gets hit when he opens up with combination punches all the time, every fight. Look at any fight that Paulie Malignaggi has lost, and every time he tries to open up, he gets countered, and then he's on the back foot because he doesn't like it. And then what happens? Sometimes anyway, he gets stopped. So let's move on. Okay? Let's move on. Can Paulie Malignaggi outbox Adrien Broner? I don't know. I mean, Khan outjabbed Paulie. Do you think Khan is a significantly better outside boxer than Adrien Broner is? Answer that yourself. Because all I'm going to say is Paulie Malignaggi made Amir Khan look spectacular in their fight. He did. And Khan was able to walk straight through his punches and land on Paulie. Let's move on to the movement. People have been saying that it's going to be Paulie's movement that's going to win in this fight. The movement, yeah? Now, post the Amir Khan fight, someone interviewed Paulie and asked him why he was becoming more flat-footed. And this is what Paulie Malignaggi responded himself. It's because of his age. So he has admitted himself that he is regressing in the only advantage people are giving him over Adrien Broner. Did you feel stupid if you said Paulie's going to win now? Because you should do. I mean, you really should do. His main attribute that he's got, he admitted he is regressing in significantly. Look at the difference between his first fight, or just look at his best fight against Juan Diaz or even Miguel Cotto, and look at him in his last fight, and the difference is significant. Let's look at speed, hand speed. Broner's faster, no doubt in my mind. Paulie puts his shots together really well, I understand that, but Broner is going to be coming up in weight. If he carries that speed up with him, it's just going to be even more important in this fight, and it will just underline how much speed he's going to have in this fight. Just look at him fight. He has got speed, and when he puts them shots together, they're hitting shots too. Just look at Broner fight. I'm not the biggest Broner fan, but I can see it. I can see this. You see what I mean? Let's look at the boxing ability. Does Broner have almost every attribute over Paulie? In my opinion, yes. In other people's opinion, no. I mean, I spoke to people on Twitter who think that Paulie is going to win this fight. I don't see it, and I don't really think they know what they're talking about. Broner is better defensively, offensively. He's more heavy-handed. He fights better on the inside. Unlike Paulie, by the way, who doesn't fight on the inside very well. He can box at length too, Broner. And he cuts the ring down really well if you look at him in other fights. I mean, someone tell me how Paulie's going to win this fight. Tell me right now. Write in the comment box how Paulie's going to win this fight. Or let's say Paulie gets his legs back and dances around Broner, and let's say he beats him to the punch, and he's keeping him honest with his power, and it works, Broner. Do you honestly think Oscar's going to let Paulie keep his title and give Broner a big fat loss against the guy who is rated right now on BoxRec number 10 in America, not in the world, in America? Let's look at the other thing that people are talking about, and this was the best one. That this person, and I didn't even check where he's from, but you know, they were talking about his experience, Paulie Malignaggi's experience, and the lack of experience from Adrien Broner. And I'm gonna, you know, bring this up, but later on. I'll do that later on. We'll just look at the form first. But you know, people are looking at Paulie's form and think that this is significant. Let me tell you something. It's not. Paulie Malignaggi, right, didn't get his title, his world title at 147 from the best fighter in the world at that weight limit. In fact, it's a fact, he got it from the worst rated champion at that weight limit. It's true. And he barely got out of the fight with Cano, the fighting after it. What I call that is an Indian summer. I don't know if you know what that is in America. You know, it's like you know, in September when it's really hot. Basically, you know that it's going to end sooner or later. It's just when is it going to end, and it's going to end here. Okay, I'll give you an example. Any British boxing fans know a guy called Jason Booth, right? Too Smooth Booth, right? He put together a number of victories which got him all the way up to a world title shot. He gave everything he had in that title shot and came up short, and he was never the same again afterwards. But I'll give you another example, a world title one, okay? World title level example. Zab Judah, right, has actually mirrored perfectly what Paulie's done, okay? And I'm going to show you this, okay? He was done at a weight limit, 140 pounds for Paulie, 147 pounds for Judah. Both moved weights, Paulie to 147, Judah back down to 140, and that was in desperation to keep their careers alive. Okay, they put a few results together against shitter opposition, and then they barely survived the fight here and there. You know, Judah barely survived the fight with Matisse, and Paulie barely survived the fight with Caro. Right, Judah won his world title against some African guy who has got like 10 losses now. Paulie beat Zenchenko. Okay, Judah went on straight afterwards to fight Amir Khan and folded badly. Paulie is now going on to fight Adrien Broner at 147, and he's going to lose badly. I promise you, he's going to lose badly. It's going to be the exact same thing. Let's look at the experience, okay? And this is what a person said to me on Twitter, okay? He said, who has Broner fought? Take your time and tell me, okay? You know, act hard and shit. And I said, it doesn't matter who he's fought, because he's not fought no one. But at the same time, who had Stiverne fought before he destroyed Areola? Which is true. A huge underdog, by the way, that I called right. Ask anybody, or in fact, go onto my videos and watch my prediction video where I predicted Stiverne to beat Areola. Okay? Who had Stevenson fought before he destroyed Badshad Dawson? And I predicted that one right too. Go have a look. It's one of my latest predictions. And the answer is all of those guys have fought nobody. But what I saw in their skill and potential was something to beat the people there. Broner, for a two-weight world champion, has a fucking dreadful CV. I understand that. He does, and I'm pointing that out to you right now, and I'm pointing that out to anybody who compares him to Floyd Mayweather. Okay? Broner compared to Floyd Mayweather doesn't deserve to even polish his shoes. Broner, for a two-weight world champion, compared to, look at any two-weight world champion, he has a dreadful CV. But that does not mean Paulie Malignaggi is going to win. None of that means that Paulie Malignaggi is going to win. You know, look at the best fights that Paulie's, you know, fought. Look at his experience. Hatton, Cotto, Khan lost those fights. Beat Juan Diaz, okay, but he was overrated, and he also beat Love Mondo, who isn't that good anyway. They're his best fights. That's his experience. You know, you would actually think that I was Broner's biggest fan, and it pretty much shows you how unpolitical I am on this channel, because quite honestly I don't like Broner, like I said before. I do think he's a total arse bandit, but this is a hand-picked fight that I think all parties have agreed upon. You know, Broner's going to get his third weight world title. Paulie gets a nice payoff instead of a shit one at the end of the fist of an unknown orgy. And Oscar De La Hoya gets an in-house fight. I'm picking Adrien Broner to stop Paulie Malignaggi inside 8 rounds in a one-sided mismatch.